Hey there, this is the Masked Gamer, and I'm here with my first play of Marvel United Multiverse! Woo! Those new to my channel, this is a place for people to talk about board games in a nice, safe, COVID cautious space. For those of you who are not COVID cautious, you are certainly welcome to join us. However, there is no harassment, minimization, or denialism allowed. With that said, I am here by myself today, so I get to do this without a mask on. I actually hate wearing them, but I do to stay safe. Okay, so um, the new multiverse thing comes with this commander mode, which I'm going to try out today because it seems to be more interesting than the other solo variants. I am going to explain this game really quick because this is the first time I'm doing this on my channel. And it's going to be really quick, no real rules. Basically, there's a bad guy, and the bad guy makes this deck appear and does these bad things with these little tokens that represent henchmen and innocents. And in order to defeat the villain, you have to do enough damage to it. And in addition to doing enough damage to it, you have to do one of these three tests. There's defeat thugs, clear threats, and rescue civilians. So if I defeat 9 thugs, rescue 9 civilians, or clear 4 of these threats from around the board, I do that twice, then I can defeat the boss. The boss also has a villainous plot that it's trying to do. We lose if that happens. We lose if we run out of cards. There's a few other ways we lose. I don't remember what they are because I barely ever played this. I haven't played this in a while. But basically what will happen is the boss will take a turn. We will go 3 times in a row. Then the boss will go, etc. Once we defeat a threat, the boss will go twice. And once we defeat a second threat, then we can beat them up. Now in this solo variant, I also have these other I guess, support cards, and I can always choose to play one of those instead of doing my main action. So I kind of am sort of playing with a full team of people, even though I'm the only person who gets hit and I'm the only person who matters where I'm standing. And the rest of it is just like, I'll say so on the cards pretty much. So I'm gonna read what the baddie does, and of course, who else? I'm gonna play as Loki. Yay, with a support team made up of the other 4 heroes from the base game, except for Shuri, because, well, if you watched my unboxing video, you know my feelings on Shuri. And we're fighting against Cosmic Ghost Rider, who can also be played as a hero, based on the recommendations of the rulebook for your first play, even though I've played the game before, so it should be fine for whatever. Anywho, Cosmic Ghost Rider's villainous plot is a punishment track, and if this track reaches 20, ruh-roh, we lose. Whenever the villain has a BAM effect on one of their cards, they're going to deal 1 damage to every hero at the Cosmic Ghost Rider's location. Then we will discard 1 thug from both his and both adjacent locations and increase the punishment track by 1 for each thug discarded this way. So we're trying to stop the villain from beating up thugs, essentially. If ever there's an overflow, we will increase the punishment track by 2, so overflow is bad. All seems pretty straightforward. I am going to start by drawing my 1, 2, 3 cards from my hand. My unique equipment is a scepter, which I can use on my turn to add 2 thugs in a location and then perform fisticuffs in another location, which is probably not going to work out so well for this setup. I do have the the battle plan of calling for help. When I play a supporting hero at any time during my turn, I may automatically rescue 1 rescue 1 civilian in my location. So that's just a free action I can do all the time. Captain Carter's got this special ability where I'll read those out as I do them as we play. But let's get this rocking and rolling. So unfortunately for us, the villain always goes first. So the villain's first card is this. This means that the villain is going to move 3 spaces clockwise and do this thing called Cosmic Hellfire, where it will deal 1 unpreventable damage to each hero. Each hero, not in its location, everywhere, and then we will add a thug to every location. So that's going to be terrible. And we're going to start putting this timeline around the board. Here, we're not going to have the same amount of room that I normally do with having this on video, but yeah, that's just how it's going to work. So Ghost Rider goes, ba-dum, 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 and I am in your space, Loki. Oh no, please don't be in my space, Ghost Rider, but I am. And then I'm going to add a thug to every location. And of course, I haven't even punched all these thugs out yet, so we're going to go ahead and punch them out as we go. That's how new this game is. I haven't punched everything out yet. I can't believe I have energy to do this today. It's been a really long day at work. Okay. All right. Well, at least the villainous plot didn't increase, and I get to go at three full time. I get to go three. I get to go 3 times. Now, Spider-Man's entangling web lets me attach a stun token to a villain or henchman in my location. On their next turn, their ban is canceled. However, I can't use that as my first card of return. It always has to be one of my later cards of return, which is very, very sad for all of us. So I think what I'm going to do is start with just doing a little Loki punch. Loki's going to do a punch, and we're just going to take out one of those henchmen, one of those thugs, rather, because we want to take out thugs, not have baddie take out thugs. And then for our second action, we're going to use the Spider-Man 2029 card of Entangling Webs, and we are going to attach a stunned token to the villain, and that gives us, we have a movement and a fist. We played a supporting hero card so I can automatically rescue a civilian from my location thanks to calling for help, I think, as far as I understand it. I am going to go ahead and punch this villain in this space. And I'm actually going to go backwards from the baddie. I'm going to actually go back to here, assuming the baddie's going to go around the other side and try to do some fun stuff that way somehow. Oh, I forgot. At the start of each of my turns, I'm supposed to draw a card. So wait. Oh, if I draw a card, decide what your battle plan is. Oh, okay. So if I do the supporting action, I don't draw a card. So I actually have the right number of cards now. The next one here is Captain Carter, where I can give a token from the pool to another hero. That might be useful. But what I'm realizing is I can't draw cards if I don't do the things, and that's not lovely. So we are going to use Loki's heroic punchy action on this next turn to go ahead and we are going to punch. No. We are going to move one to begin with, punch this thug here, use this heroic action to start working on this villain plan, and that was our 3 moves. I forgot to draw a card at the start of my turn. This is something I always do in Marvel United. I forget to draw a card then play a card. Whenever I teach this game, I remind everybody, draw a card, play a card, draw a card, play a card, and then I forget to do it, and then they forget to do it, and then everyone forgets to do it. It's a whole hot mess. But, anywho, let's see what Cosmic Ghost Rider does. And remember, he's stunned. And it's a good thing, too, because he would have banned. And now, because I used that stun token, I'm going to cancel that ban. So, he's going to move 1 space. His ban is canceled, so that was smart of me. And we are going to add a whole bunch of thugs to the board in a way that's not going to work out so well. So there's going to be 2 thugs that spawn behind Ghost Rider and 2 that spawn in front of Ghost Rider. And unfortunately, that causes our first overflow, moving the villainous plot up to 2. Oh no! Ghost Rider's going to punish all the bad people! What will we ever do? Whatever. Alright, so we are going to draw a card and then play cards. So I really want to get rid of these, which are close to where he is. So I think I'm actually going to use this scepter and put 2 thugs in my location and perform a double fisticuff in another location, which is this one. And then I turn this face down. Now, at the beginning of one of my turns, I can discard 2 action cards in order to turn that face up. But I'm not going to do that right now. No. Instead, I'm going to play this movement and star action card. That chains with my previous one, which is going to let me put 2 star actions onto this and remove it. If I end my turn here, I can swap 2 of my face-up hero cards in the storyline. Oh, so I can move something from the start to the back. That might be helpful. It might not be helpful. I'm going to use one of my fists to knock out this other thug, and I'm getting really close to this thug goal, which is one of the reasons that I'm trying so hard to do some other things instead. And again, I'm going to take the action of running kind of away from where Ghost Rider is, because I really don't need Ghost Rider hitting me on top of everything else. Now I have a turn again. Now instead of drawing a card, I can use one of these special cards here, and I kind of want to get some tokens added to my pool because that's going to help me out with getting my scepter recharged. So I am going to go ahead and play Captain. I'm going to go ahead and play Captain Carter. That is going to let me get a token and spend 2 stars. I'm actually going to spend the star that I would have immediately gotten so that I can spend all 3 stars on this and get rid of that. At the end of my turn, I can cover with a crisis token, a symbol at the bottom of the latest hero card, to get a wild token. And then those are ignored later. I mean, that's interesting, I guess. I'm going to move here to do my free heroic rescue action. And then I can swap any 2 of my face-up hero cards in the timeline at the end of my turn. Now, I think that does not count for the support card, so I'm just not going to do that and assume that's actually the case. This new Mighty Thor card is pretty cool. That'll let me move to any location and bring any number of heroes with me, being myself. But teleporting could be very useful here. But let's see what else I can do instead. I'm gonna pop a wild on down here, and with that wild, I can get this, punch out this hero. No, that's not how I want to do this. I'm going to move 1 to here. Oh no, it's not a move. I don't have a move. I just have a heroic action and a regular action. So I'm going to go ahead and punch out that thug and rescue this civilian. And then, I forgot to draw a card as usual. At the end of my turn, I can swap any 2 of my face-up hero cards. So I can give myself some flexibility for later by swapping that single wild. Oh, you can't even see it on the screen, but it is what it is. You can, it's kind of, you can kind of see the icons on the bottom, and that's the important part. So now I'll have a heroic action and a fisticuff in my next turn. But let's see what Ghost Rider's got coming our way. Cosmic Ghost Rider is going to move 4 and do a BAM. So we're going to get our first BAM effect. So Ghost Rider is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. BAM! Deal 1 damage to each hero in Ghost Rider's location. There is none. Discard 1 thug from both his and adjacent locations and increase the punishment track by 1 for each thug supported this way. So that brings our punishment track up to 4. That's not great. Then we do some more not great stuff, and he's going to spawn some civilians behind him and in front of him. So we've got 2 civilians over here in the TVA headquarters, and we've got 2 civilians over here in London Town, which actually that wasn't so terrible, especially because it's our turn next. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. Okay, so we need to do 2 more threats, 6 more civilians, which is also, same number of shoots. It's the same number of shoots, no matter how you look at it. I think we're going to take a nice, easy turn here and just do a move and bounce on over here, knock out a thug, rescue, no, put a star token on here. Oh, this is what I forgot. I forgot to do the BAMs of every location. This one had no civilians on it at the time, so it would have gotten a civilian and then added 2 more. This one already had a henchman, this one already had a civilian, that one already had a henchman. So we're actually in good shape there. Yeah, okay. Oh, forgot to draw a card at the start of my turn again, because what else is new? Oh, this was a great card that I drew. I don't have to worry about my extra deck. I can just go ahead and put down this Loki double star and clear this threat. At the end of this turn, I can move a henchman to this location and deal 1 damage to them. But there are no henchmen, so that's kind of irrelevant. I still have an extra movement, so I'm going to keep going this way in case I can do that. Oh, look, I forgot to draw a card at the start of my turn again. Somebody got to tell me this stuff. Cool. Oh, that's nice. Doesn't help me right now. What do we have here? Ah! I like that. Yeah, so for our final action, we're not going to draw. We're going to use Mighty Thor's teleportation. And we're going to move ourselves to London. Okay? So that's the first thing I did. Whenever you play a supporting hero card, you may automatically rescue 1 civilian at your location. So I get that civilian rescue for free. And then I have 2 heroic actions and a wild. How interesting. So I can take 1 and 2 heroic actions to pop these little babies here. And I'm going to play it a little conservatively and use my 3rd wild to do another heroic action and rescue this civilian. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to try to clear 2 threats on the same turn so that the bad guy doesn't speed up until we're ready. Okay, then we will reveal the next villain card. It's a 2 movement BAM! Alright, so the villain's going to end up over here in Kunlun. It doesn't hit me because I'm not there. It's going to discard a total of 2 thugs, bringing the punishment track up to a massive 6. And then its BAM is going to be to add 2 civilians in the previous location and 2 civilians in the next location. And we still seem to be managing this board pretty well. At the start of my next turn, I'm going to draw a card and then play a card. Now, I only need to beat up 1 thug, which is all the way over there, and do 1 fear in order to be able to start attacking next, which is nice. And I think, no, that's not good. I think, based on the fact that the board's a little wild, I might try, no, that doesn't make sense. I want to have 2 icons to spend. I want to have 2 icons to spend. Oh, and I drew a card already, so I can't use Captain Carter's cartilage. That's not even a word. I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use... No. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and use this card, which is misleading. And this lets me, on the next villain turn, when the master plan card is revealed, I can decide which location the villain moves to and ignore the movement instructions on their card, which should be helpful. And the things we're going to do with that is we are going to BAM. No, we're going to use a heroic action on this space to clear this 4th threat. So now the villain is going to start going every 2 hero cards instead of every 1, which could be problematic for us. If I end my turn here, if there's 1 other hero in this location, you can get a thing. Well, that's not going to happen because I'm playing solo. So we're going to use that 2nd wild to just move over here into Alchemix and be ready to do that. Now I can cover the previous thing with something to gain a... I can cover the previous location to get a wild token that I can use later and ignore that wild token on my next turn. I think that might be a good idea because the villain's going to go after my next turn. And all I really need to do is 1 punch. And for that 1 punch, I'm going to go ahead and use Loki's Scepter. At the end of my turn, I can recharge my Scepter. And I'm going to do that punch. And that gets rid of these thugs. And then I can cover this to get a wild token to use later. Because I'm realizing my deck is running really thin, which I wasn't really quite prepared for. So things could get nasty. But I get, I get to flip my Scepter which will let me add 2 thugs at any location and attack twice in any other location. So that can be used to do 2 attacks on Ghost Rider, and I only need to do 5 damage to him. On this turn, I'm going to get to decide where Ghost Rider moves. Oh, wow. This says to move clockwise to the next location with the most thugs. And then I'm going to ban, and then I'm going to leave a thug in the locations before me and after me. So this might seem a little odd, but I am choosing to end in London, because that's close to me so I can punch soon without getting hit by the ban. And this way I can take those thugs that they're getting added to the board and put them in locations where they will not cause an overflow. So we're going to get... So we get... Ow! So we get a thug here in Alchemix, 2 thugs there in Alchemix, and 2 thugs here in Kunlun. And then it becomes my turn. I can't draw a card, so I have to only play a card. And the first card I play must always be a Loki card. Oh, it's going to get tricky up in here. We're going to play this first card, which pretty much only gives us a movement, which kind of sucks. But yeah, we're going to go ahead here and move here. We're going to use these 2 wild actions to hit Ghost Rider twice. We're going to use the Scepter to add 2 thugs to any location and do 2 fists to any other location, leaving our friend Ghost Rider with just 1 health left, and we don't even need to use the rest of our hero deck. We throw down another Loki, we punch, and boom! Cosmic Ghost Rider goes down. Now, what we see here, this game took me 21 minutes to play, and that was with a little bit of a preamble. And this is the thing that I love about Marvel United, is it is so quick to play. Like, you can play this 3-4 times in a row. And I do like this solo variant so far. It worked out. I was able, it decreases the play space. It was a close call. You know, I was running out of cards. I still won. But this is just such a great solo or like small group game to just get to a table and get to a table quickly, as long as you only have the core boxes and not the 5,000 expansion boxes that I have behind me. Which is also good because it means that I got all this new stuff and I can kind of pre-record some Marvel Mondays for y'all while I'm playing this, because that was super quick. And we can try out some other villains and some other heroes and then start going through some of these stretch goals until I get tired, which I will. I will get tired. But it's also, this was a very simplistic villain, and some of the villains get very interesting. I'm sure the ones in this core box probably won't get that interesting, but I've seen some really cool mechanics over some of them. Most of the heroes are kind of, they're just heroes, and they have like 1 or 2 unique cards and whatever. The game really shines with the villains. But great solo game, great entry-level game. Just the art is so nice. We love us some Marvel United. And they're now doing DC United, which I think might be in late pledge stage still. So you can check that out on GameFound and see if you want to get in on that and get a bazillion miniatures or not. But anyway, for now, thank you for tuning in. I am Greg, the Masked Gamer. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Do not forget, keep those health bars full. Thank you and have a great night.